Good evening, beloveds. So there's been this whole trauma with all of a sudden my phone decided not to do Facebook Live anymore, and I was just like, I didn't know what to do, and I'm just like, okay, fine. So a couple of days I did it from the iPad, and I was just like, whatever. And then tonight, and it was frustrating, and it's crazy making. And so finally, I was like, well, it still works from the iPad. It's not working from my phone. Let me switch over and see if it works on Tom's phone. Okay, well, here's the good news. It did work from Tom's phone, but Tom didn't have Facebook, so I had to install Facebook. And I was like, huh. So you know what I did? I uninstalled the app and reinstalled the app, and it's working. So let that be a lesson to you. We joke about turning things off and turning them back on. Well, that's what I needed to do to the bloody app. So here we are. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm also not sure where I went live, so I may have to share this video when I'm done. I don't even know. Yeah, I guess I should ask. Hey, Tom, will you check if I'm live on my Facebook or on the Center's Facebook? It's going to be a messy video. What? It's May 31st. Our title is Live More Abundantly. For the Lord is good. God's mercy is everlasting, and God's truth endureth to all generations. And that is Psalm 105. The divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. And that is The Science of Mind, page 25. I have come to you. I have come that you may have life more abundantly, Jesus said. Did he mean by this that he would make life more complete? I doubt that. Instead, I feel that he was speaking from a sense of oneness with God. He was urging his listeners to seek that same universal life within themselves that would fulfill their every need. There is that presence of God that can fill us with its wholeness and obliterate any sense of need or limitation. We only need to be aware of this presence and be willing to trust it. Like children, however, we too often try to make it on our own. Eventually, we usually do turn to God, but only after much wasted time and self-defeating energy. We must resolve to live like the spiritual beings we are, moving daily in a state of interaction with God, making no decision without support of affirmative prayer or meditation. Then we would watch ourselves grow progressively wiser and more loving. Now's the time. Yeah, I'm definitely tired. All right. Infinite mind inspires me. Infinite power expresses through me. Infinite love heals me and presents me as a true spiritual being. I know what God has for me. I believe that my life is meant to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, and I claim my divine heritage now. No longer do I continue to think in limited terms. Instead, I expand my vision of myself and my life. I am open to my own fulfillment and gratefully give thanks to God for my great good. And that is Margaret Stortz. Okay. I have an eye doctor appointment tomorrow, and I'm very grateful that I have an eye doctor appointment tomorrow. I miss being able to see easily. I can still see. So, there's a line in here. Like children, however, we too often try to make it on our own. Eventually, we usually do turn to God, but only after much wasted time and self-defeating energy. Now, it's not the first time I've heard that. Too often we leave God to the last resort. Whereas we could use God as the first resort. No matter what is going on, you can always turn to God first. But we don't want to bother God. And that's not fair. That's not fair to us. It's not fair to the situation that we are in. And it's not, and I'm going to say it's not fair to God. Not that God is going to have any issue one way or another, whether we start with God or end, finally use God as the last resort. But what I mean by it's not fair to God is because we let things go until we hit crisis point. And then by then we're in that big mess. Now, God doesn't know big messes from little messes. What God knows is, hey, you're asking for something. The law knows you're asking for something. And the law's like, well, let me give you what you're asking for. How much better would it be if we would ask when the problem was smaller? Again, God doesn't care. But for your peace of mind, it would be a whole lot better if you would use God as your first resort. And the cool thing about that is, because she has another line in here where she talks about, where was it? Any sense of need or limitation. Because frequently when we're white knuckling is what I like to call it, white knuckling it and using our own willpower rather than leaning on the infinite power that we have access to, we are limiting ourselves and we are making our needs, what is the word I want to say? Not more evident, more prominent. Because we all have needs, but we are making them, I guess we're making them more dire is what I want to use, the word I want to use. Whereas if we turn to God first, then we signal a willingness and an openness to see things come to us in a more more infinite ways, in more variety is what I want to say. So there we are. All right. Okay. So live more abundantly. I know I'm tired and I shouldn't do these when I'm tired, but I didn't do it. I had other stuff to do when I got home, and then, I just let it get too late. And this is what I get for skipping it yesterday. So, May 31st, live more abundantly. For the Lord is good, God's mercy is everlasting, and God's truth endureth in all generations. Psalm 100. Go read Psalm 100. See what he's talking about. And then, straight up, Ernest Holmes. Cornerstone of Ernest Holmes' teaching is going to be the divine plan is one of freedom. Bondage is not God ordained. The bondage is us. It is our limiting thinking that binds us to situations that we don't necessarily have to be bound to. So that's from the Science of Mind, page 25. Okay. I have come that you may have life more abundantly. And that's a quote from Jesus. It says Jesus said, and it's in quotes. Did he mean by this that he would make life more complete? And Margaret says, I doubt that. Instead, I feel that he was speaking from a sense of oneness with God. He was urging his listeners to seek that same universal life within themselves that would fulfill their every need. So she's not saying that we don't, neither one of them, neither Margaret nor Ernest are saying we don't have needs. But when we cut ourselves off from God, then we wonder how our needs are going to get met. When we are open to God, it doesn't mean we don't have needs, but we are open to a wider variety of ways of getting our needs met. And it makes our needs less desperate. And that's the best way that I can describe it. So I'm hoping that helps. There is that presence of God which can fill us with its wholeness and obliterate any sense of need or limitation. And frequently when we are trying to do it with our own willpower, that's exactly, it's like, I only have so much energy. Like, I admitted I'm tired tonight. I only have so much energy. Yet, that's not stopping me from saying what I need to say, because the words that I'm using aren't coming from me, they're coming through me. All right? So I am opening myself up and to beyond my limitations. Now, does that not mean that I'm going to get off and go to bed and get a good night's sleep? No, that absolutely does not mean that. I'm not going to deprive myself of sleep, because that would be foolish. But my sense of need and limitation is not desperate, because I know the source of my being. Do I know the oneness of God 100% of time? No. But I have been practicing. And I've been practicing for a long time. So I'm good at it. And that's the point of spiritual practice, okay? We need only be aware of this presence and be willing to trust it. Like children, however, we too often try to make it on our own. Eventually, we usually do turn to God, but often only after much wasted time and self-defeating energy. And one of the things, and it's a meme that it'll pop up occasionally, and it hits me, is when they talk about the helpers. Because there are some of us who, for a variety of reasons, we grew up in the helper role. And we're not used to being helped, because we are usually the one doing the helping. So it can get a little hard for us, and it can get a little weird for us. And we don't always ask for help. And by leaning into that divine presence, it's okay to ask. Then we learn it's okay to ask for help. We learn that occasionally we not only need to be helped, but deserve to be helped. And so that's one of the things that's interesting. All right. Let's see. We must resolve to live like the spiritual beings we are, moving daily in a state of interaction with God. A state of interaction with God. God is not at a remove. God is always interacting with us. The question is, are we consciously interacting with God, or are we simply interacting with what's around us, forgetting that what's around us is God? All right. Making no decision without the support of affirmative prayer or meditation. Big things, little things, doesn't matter. It can all go to God. Then we would watch ourselves grow progressively wiser and more loving. Now is the time. And then she's got that beautiful treatment. Infinite mind inspires me. Infinite power expresses through me. Infinite love heals me and presents me as a true spiritual being. I know what God has for me. I believe that my life is meant to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, and I claim my divine heritage now. No longer do I continue to think in limited terms. Instead, I expand my vision of myself and my life. I am open to my own fulfillment and gratefully give thanks to God for my greater good. All right, that's Margaret Stortz. And so, if you want to know what the mission is, the mission today, should we choose to accept it? Ooh, and I had a good one. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, that's what it was. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to move today in a state of interaction with God. Lisa, what does that mean? Anything you want it to. One of the things that I love the most about my relationship with God is I have no issues talking to God. And I will do it out loud. I will simply have a one-sided conversation with God, because I know that I'm getting the other side of the conversation. I'm not imagining it. I'm simply having the conversation and then moving on with the conversation, anticipating the result. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that, but that's one of my favorite things about talking to God. And that, I think, is that state of interaction. It's like, because I see God, I act as if God were in the room with me and I'm having a conversation with God. I think it has definitely informed my relationship with God for the better, in my opinion. Now, do I look crazy? Do I sound crazy? Yeah. But hallmark of the mystics. You know, people think they're crazy. So it's all right. Sometimes we need to look a little crazy. Now, do I have conversations with God when other people are around? Not generally. Not generally. That is reserved for my private time to do that out loud. Do I have conversations with God in my head when other people are around? Oh yeah. Do I do it out? So, take care of your mental health, people. All right. I think I got what I wanted. I'm done. March is over. We will start June tomorrow. And I will do this at 9:00 in the morning. And I will endeavor not to forget again. You know what? I look at it this way. In the 2.5, a little over 2 years I've been doing this, I've only forgotten once. And I've done it more than once because there were a couple of nights at fair when I was just too tired to do it. So I would do it the next morning. But yeah, yesterday but I had a big weekend. I did have a big weekend. All right, beloveds. You got your mission. I did encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself this morning. I'm going to say it again tonight. It bears repeating. It is a spiritual practice. And you don't have to just do one. You can do bunches. Several. Every act that you do for yourself could be loving, kind, and compassionate. That's actually the goal that I'm working on. But we start with one. All right. So, loving, kind, compassionate thing. Practice on yourself. You deserve your own love. All the usual stuff that I normally say, because you may be watching this some other time. Drink plenty of water. Do something to engage your mind and your body. Get some early morning bright light. I'm getting late night bright light, but that's okay. Trust me, I can fall asleep like nobody's business. It's good. I gotta go do my feet. Oh, I have a foot massage. That's what I'm talking about. So that's my loving, kind, and compassion thing that I'm going to go do for myself right now. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you to live in heaven now. And one of the ways that we can know that is that state of interaction. Interact with God as if God were there. Because God is. Talk to God. Do things with God. You might find yourself in the park playing catch. The person you are playing catch with is God. Wearing a mortal form. Having a mortal experience. Still God. Both sides of the equation, playing catch or God. All right, I'm getting loopy. So, you know what? You know where heaven is. State of mind, state of consciousness. And I'm going to tell you, have a great day. I did have a good day. Have a great day, an amazing day, a wonderful day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a good day. That's too much pressure. Simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. I know, I swiped that from Jessie. I like it. I feel like there's other things that I normally say. Email info@creativelife.org to get what you want to know. Which I don't even know what. Including all the things going on. I know that there are 2 book studies. The Living the Science of Mind book study is on hiatus, which is the one that was happening on Wednesday night. And I was wrong about the class starting. I said it on Sunday. Tonight, it actually starts a week from tonight. So, first Tuesday. Occasionally I lose my mind. Actually, I lose it a lot. which is okay. It comes back when it's ready. But we do have a guest musician coming up this Sunday. That will be really cool because it's a guest of Mary Radspinner, our harpist. So it's going to be good. If there was anything else, like I said, email us. We're on all the social medias, or several of the social medias. It's Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the running Rev Ryan. So there it is. And I've lost it. So there we go. Have a good night. Know that you're loved. And I will see you next time.